This is Hilda Ward, and welcome to Artistic Expressions. And today I'm so happy to have Annette Ward. We have the same last name, so I'm really happy to have you, and it's been a thrill reading your book.
Thank you.
I'm just so happy to be asking you about this book, Mama Nem. Now let's see, it's Switching in the Kitchen with Mama Nem.
Yeah.
I love the title.
Yeah,
Yes.
that references her sisters, and she in the kitchen, very small kitchen.
Right.
And the sisters were all from out of town. They would come to Richmond, one from New Jersey, one from Washington, D.C., and they would get in that little kitchen over there. They were the best of friends.
Right.
And they would get in that little kitchen and cook the most marvelous stuff.
All right.
And they would be laughing and joking and just cooking up the best stuff and speaking Pig Latin.
Uh-oh, uh-oh.
And so we're standing, what are they talking about? And finally we got the nerve to ask, Mama, what you saying? She said, well, we're speaking it because we don't want you to know.
We don't want you to know.
So I said, Mom, would you teach me something in Pig Latin? She said, yes. Awe ugly uye, ervi achme.
I haven't heard
said,
that in ages.
Okay. So I said, what is that?
Right.
She said, I love you very, very much.
Right.
I will not teach you anything more.
All right. That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's awesome.
But they spoke it fluently.
all the time.
And
Well, that was their way of not letting you
Yeah.
know what was going on. Yes,
Right.
yes, yes.
So that's Mama Nem
all right. Switching in
the
kitchen.
kitchen.
That's awesome.
with Mama Nem.
And this book is amazing because you have filled it with so much. It just blows me away.
Yeah.
The first thing I have to share with you is, now I know I marked it, fried apples with bacon. Now, I grew up with fried apples and bacon every Sunday.
That's right.
Yes, and I had to help cut up the apples, and we had fried apples and bacon before we went to church, to Sunday school, and then when we came back, before we went to church, Nana made homemade bread.
Exactly.
And when I was a kid, I didn't know that you could buy bread in the store.
There wasn't a lot of that done.
No, but you know, when I think about it, I was a teenager before I realized, because
Yeah.
every Saturday night there would be bread rising all over the house.
Right.
Yeah.
And delicious rolls
Oh,
the
yes.
next day for dinner.
And they lasted all week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So did your aunts and sisters make homemade bread?
Yes, they did. My grandma started, my father's mother, and she was the roll maker in the neighborhood there.
Yes.
And every Sunday we had hot rolls.
Oh yeah. You had to have
Couldn't
those.
wait.
And if you sprinkled a little water on them, you could put them back in the oven again, and they
they're
were
like
just as
new.
fresh.
That's exactly
I
right.
loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it, and I loved when Nana would let me help her
Yeah.
make the rolls.
And that's why there's a section in the book, Switching in the Kitchen with Mama
Right.
Nem,
Yeah.
Kitty Cooking and Crafts.
Uh-huh.
Because it's nice to have something to do with kids in the kitchen. So often parents, grandparents have to have the children for a while.
Right.
And said, oh, what am I going to do with these kids?
It's fun.
You got a whole lot of suggestions in there
this-
from cooking to crafts.
It is so filled with
Yeah.
so many reminders for me. You know, I couldn't believe how many things you put. Looking through your book, it made me think about my Nana, as I shared with you about homemade bread.
Right.
My Aunt Ida, who used to make the best pound cake, she would put the bowl between her knees and whip
Exactly.
it. Yes.
Got to hold it steady.
Absolutely. and then my mother was a great cook, and now I have a granddaughter who is an amazing cook,
Great.
and
Yeah.
she loves it. So
Yeah.
this book really brought back a lot of memories.
What
for me.
people like about that book a lot is the fact that it's basically Southern recipes.
Yes, yes.
And cooking is easy.
Yes.
There are no exotic ingredients you've got to go to the national store to find. If you got a little bacon grease, a little sugar, flour, and eggs, you can go a long way.
Right. And you have so many helpful hints, which I had to be reminded about. And I've marked this book all up with different hints for me. And there was one that I wanted to share with you because I really loved it. Let's see. Oh, yeah, miscellaneous tips. I love that. And how to pack shoes for travel, clothes dryer caution. Where did you get all these ideas from?
Well, there are 83 names listed in the acknowledgments in the back.
Yes.
Those 83 people shared with me either recipes or helpful hints or ideas for the children's section.
Right.
It's a collection of the best of everything. And so and most of those things, believe it or not, I've tried them.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, they were just awesome. Table manners. You know, I remember these. Don't sing at the table. Don't talk with your mouth full. No elbows on the table.
No elbows
I remember
on the
getting
table.
yelled at for that.
Right.
Cover your mouth when you cough. Don't play with your food. Now, that one was one that it was hard for me because back then, there was already somebody starving somewhere in the world.
Right.
And so you had to finish your food.
Everything on your plate.
Absolutely. And I remember Nana made the lumpiest mashed potatoes. But I had to eat those lumpy mashed potatoes.
Yes. And respect that.
Absolutely. You didn't have any choice. You didn't have any choice. So how long did it take you to create this book?
About 2 years and a little bit more. I started on the book with the idea of, because this book is dedicated to my mom.
Right.
It's a tribute to her, Miss Ida.
Miss Ida, yes.
And I wanted to do something for her because she was such an humble, quiet person
that was my
with
Nana.
talents that you wouldn't believe in the household. Super baker and cook, seamstress extraordinaire. She did it all, but she did it for other people.
Yes.
And she accepted no reward for it.
Yeah.
So I said, I'm going to do this for my mom.
That's awesome.
And I really wanted to. She was, after my dad died, she seemed to have come down with this Alzheimer's thing, and she was getting worse. But I wanted to put this in her hand. I missed it. She passed. But I had done the dedication page, as you see there.
Before then.
And so I made a copy of the dedication page, rolled it in a scroll, and stuck it down in her hand with a peach rose.
Oh, this is wonderful.
And she wore my beautiful little peach. I'd never worn the blouse.
Wow.
But it's peach and little white lace. She was so pretty in it. And so a peach rose in her hand with the scroll. So she got that.
She got it. She got it.
Yeah.
Well, you know, we don't think about those things while we're growing up.
No.
You know, when I think about Nana didn't get her rewards. I mean, all she did was work. And only time Nana didn't have an apron on was when she went to church.
Yeah.
You know, because she was always doing something in the kitchen or fixing lunch for Brother and I, or cleaning the dishes and washing clothes. And back then, you know, you did the old flat irons on the stove, and there was always linen starch on the back of the stove.
That's
so
right.
A lot of those things, this book really got me to thinking about all these wonderful things I grew up.
Yeah.
What was your favorite part in the book? What do you think?
My favorite part was a dish that, a cooking part, a dish that my mom made that there are two on page 64.
64.
There's a sweet potato yum yum. And just on the same page, just above it, I think
64.
above it, is corn pudding.
Okay.
And whenever
Mama's
anyone
corn
buys,
pudding,
and when anyone purchases a book and said, "Oh, I don't cook, but I'm just going to get a book," I said, "You don't know the joy of cooking."
Right.
Turn to page 64 and try those two recipes. They are so simple, and they are so delicious,
Right.
and they're so Southern.
Right, sweet potato yum
Yum
yums.
yum.
Oh.
And I won a bake-off using the sweet potato yum yum.
Wow.
Yeah, at my church.
That's
And
awesome.
yeah, won first prize. I didn't do it for the prize. I just wanted to be involved in doing
Right.
something there.
Right.
And so I had my sweet potato yum yum on there with I bought those little individual cups.
Right.
And I had some in each of the cups. And what you do is everybody had 3 tickets.
Right.
They could put it in any 3 cups anywhere in the room. Oh, they had everything from meat dishes to bakery things to potato salad, anything that they cook best.
Right.
And so that was my little cup. And they didn't know me too well because I'd just become a part of this church.
Right.
And so they went around and put the little thing. And I noticed my little cup had a whole lot of stuff in it. The one with the most, that you got the most votes, won the first prize.
Wonderful.
I won first prize. I was excited because I'd won it. I knew it was good.
Right, right.
Yeah. But I was surprised because I
Right.
won it. At the same time, I was not happy because I didn't do it to compete. I did it for the fun of it.
Well, that's good.
I love cooking.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. And you know, I'm looking here, rice pudding. I remember
Yes.
as a kid, that was a big special thing to have
Right,
rice pudding.
right.
You know, we didn't. You got cake. Now Nana made the best sweet potato pie in the world, and of course, people didn't measure back then.
Sift.
Absolutely. And
And a pinch of that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I remember growing up wanting my Nana's recipe. So I asked my mom, would you sit down and watch her and see if you could get some measurements
Figure out.
close? So I have Nana's recipe, but of course it's still not quite Nana.
But you know, that's something that has gone on through the ages with us who still cook. I had to I have a number of recipes in there of my own.
Right.
I had to go back and make them and try to figure out if it was a teaspoon or a tablespoon of this, that, or the other,
Right.
so that I could write it to go in the book. I think I did well.
All right. Yeah, well, listen,
think
this
I
is
did.
awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, chocolate cream pie, oh my goodness, I get hungry just thinking about
I
it.
know.
And the fact that you even have like watermelon, oh my goodness. I never heard of watermelon pickles.
Yeah, oh, they're delicious.
See,
They're
that's a new one
delicious.
for me.
They're actually crunchy.
Ah.
The pickling makes them crunchy.
Right. Well, you know, and now liver, when I was growing up, I hated liver because Nana cooked it to death. But then when I got married, and I learned, somebody taught me how to cook the liver
Yeah,
correctly,
so
and I
it would be
loved it.
tough.
But I had to eat Nana's liver.
Of course.
Yes, and we had liver.
And act like you liked it.
That's right. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And I just love going through the book and seeing all these like different salads and Mexican. I noticed that you put some Mexican food
There's
in
a
here.
whole section.
Yes,
Pearl's Mexican cuisine.
What made you do that?
I wanted everybody's things in there. I wanted something for everyone. I didn't want you to look in this book and not find something that would be helpful.
Right.
So she was a new neighbor that moved next to where my mom was living, and I asked her if she would consider doing the most popular Mexican dishes because of the influence here. A lot of people are cooking Mexican.
Oh, no question.
Oh,
no
yeah,
question. Oh, yeah,
So
absolutely.
she agreed to do it and gave me her recipes, and I'm very happy to have them. And
Yeah.
she is excited to be in a
Oh,
book.
I know. Well,
Yeah.
like when I look at this Mexican cornbread, I said, now, I might have to try that.
Yeah.
Because Nana made the best cornbread, but I never thought about Mexican cornbread.
Did she ever make that cracklin bread?
No, I don't think Nana knew how to make the cracklin bread. Now, maybe
That's
yeah.
a recipe in chapter 1 for it. My mom's recipe.
Mom's recipe. And hot cross buns.
Yeah,
Oh, you got to have the hot cross buns. There are so many memories in here that, molasses cookies.
Right.
And and then when I look at the back, and you have all these ideas and suggestions about combining dishes, and you really got a lot in here.
Because sometimes you get up and you say, what am I going to have for dinner?
Right.
That allows you to just go down a list of great possibilities and stop and choose one. It might be liver and onions, rice and gravy over rice and collard greens. Well, that's already out. It's been paired for you.
Paired for you, yeah.
All you got to do is choose it. Then there's a little section back there, the choices that you made most or that you liked most. You can write them in, so that book is actually interactive.
Well, I had so much fun, and I said, you know, I don't cook as much as I used to, you know, being by myself now. But I'm thinking I might have to give some of these a try.
Oh, you gotta do it.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. And like I said, I have a granddaughter who loves to cook, and so I just can't wait to tell her about this book because I know she'll be trying them all. She's famous for her baked macaroni.
Oh yeah.
I don't know how many cheeses she puts in that baked macaroni.
The more the better.
I'm telling you. I'm telling you. So you really filled this book, and I just couldn't get over even things for children. And then you had timetables for canning, and I didn't do too much canning, and Nana didn't do very much canning, and yet I had friends whose parents did a lot of canning.
My mom did. I never canned, and there was one thing that I looked for I could not find.
What's that?
She did a spiced apples.
Ah.
And I've seen recipes, but there were about 3 little slices in a jar. I mean, you know, it lasts forever if you can it. And I tasted it. I said, oh my goodness, wonder where is that recipe? I could never find it. But I'm going to find one. It may not be exactly like hers, but I'm going to taste and taste until I balance the ingredients to get it like hers. Right. But I could not find that recipe. Yeah. Spiced apples.
I think folks really had fun in the kitchen. And I remember as a kid, it was a thrill for me to help my Nana.
Yes.
You know, and it was so nice when she would ask me to help her in the kitchen.
Absolutely.
And when I think about it now, like when I was raising my children, you know, they would be in the way, and then I'd say, okay, now Hilda, you're going to be patient with them. But as I said, I have a granddaughter who loves to cook. And my children all, you know, they got in the kitchen with me and they helped. But it wasn't the same kind of thing as it was when I was a kid.
Yeah.
It was just, because you did things by hand.
Right.
You know, you didn't have the machines, you didn't have the blenders.
Right.
You didn't have the microwave. Yeah, everything was, you know, you whipped it up.
My son can cook, but he would much rather see me do it and sit down and taste it. It's special is the hash brown potatoes that I make with onions and green peppers.
Hash brown potatoes.
And he will ask me if I can, Mom, can you make? Even at 40, whatever that is,
he
6,
still
7,
loves
something,
them,
he'll call and ask, Mom, can you make me some potatoes?
I love it.
I make the big pan, and he acts like he's a big man. Very little left.
Not really, and very little left?
Very little left.
Wow, that's amazing.
He'll save some, he'll eat some, and he'll try to go back and eat the rest of whatever he left. Has to put it away sometime.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but he probably has some good memories with those hash browns, right?
Yeah, it's just one of the dishes that I make that he truly, truly loves. Those hash brown potatoes are his favorite.
Right.
And it doesn't matter what time of day. You know, it's basically a breakfast.
Yes, it is.
Food with the eggs and bacon and or whatever, and the hash brown potatoes.
Right.
It doesn't matter what time of day.
Oh no,
he just wants those
whenever.
Yeah.
Now I'm not good with vegetables like I used to be, and yet when I looked at some of these recipes, I said, maybe I might be able to entice myself into some of these because they sound so wonderful.
Well, all those recipes are tried and preferred by the people who presented them to me. I asked them for their best. And so some people put in one that they really thought was special,
Right.
and that they really liked and was successful the way they made it. Some people gave me as many as 3 or 4.
Right.
My family in Washington, the only close relatives I have are cousins. There are 5 of them in Washington. One of the sisters, Noli, is still, her children are still in Washington. All of them are phenomenal cooks. All of them are phenomenal cooks.
Right.
And so they have 2 and 3 recipes in there. Noli's favorite preparation was fried chicken.
Fried chicken,
But nobody could really put together the way she did it. So we chose baked chitlins instead.
Well, you know, when I was growing up, chicken, you only had chicken on Sunday.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
you couldn't afford chicken during the
every
week.
day, yeah.
And in New Haven, we had a woman from the West Indies who had a chicken market, Miss Archibald. And Saturday it was my job to go to Miss Archibald's and get fresh chicken, fresh killed chicken.
Now, would that be the chicken that's just been killed and haven't been
Oh, she
pulled,
did everything. Oh,
she
no,
did
she did all that.
Oh, good.
Yes, she did all that. No, I mean, I got the chicken, you know, clean, but I'm just saying that was her job.
And to kill the chickens, clean them, and have them ready for sale. That's fresh. That's not frozen.
Definitely fresh.
Yeah.
And what I loved about it, which they don't have today, is Nana used to make the best chicken foot soup. And you can't get chicken foot soup anymore.
No, because it's hard to find a chicken feet. Unless you go down to the old farmers markets, you can still find them there. At a few places in Washington, D.C. that my cousins have told me that carry old market stuff.
So you can get them.
You can get them. Yeah, you can get them.
But, yeah, well, chicken was a specialty. I mean, you didn't have chicken every day like you can now.
Yes.
And I love making chili, and that's fun.
That is fun.
And so there are lots of things that your book really got me. And I said, oh, my Nana would have loved this book because she would have been trying all of them. And of course, my mom would have been trying them all too, you know.
I've got a few more to go. I haven't tried them
all. Are you going to
all.
make some more?
I don't know. I'm going to go through and see which of those recipes I want. I'm going to sort of make a list because I got through making quite a few of them that my friends, family, and neighbors had suggested or presented to me for this book.
Right.
But I didn't get to do them all.
Okay. All right.
I didn't get to try it.
Okay.
I may never try them all, but I'd like to do more of them because they sound so good. I would be in there writing and run across a recipe. See, that's what took me so long.
Right.
I'd be in the kitchen,
trying
fixing it.
Right.
Yeah, like that chili pie. There's a chili cornbread pie in there.
Oh, wow, that sounds
so
good.
So it's actually chili with a thin layer of cornbread on the top. I said, man, that sounds good.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
So I went in there and I tried that. I said, that's too much work. I revised it and put my own version of chili cornbread pie.
All right, sounds good.
So I have both of them.
Right, right. Now, you were showing me something in here that I wanted to share with the audience. You said something about the book that you had when you were a little girl.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I wanted
when I was in elementary school, Moore Street School, I was in a, what you call it, in a homemaking class. And this book, this is my actual notebook.
Your original
my original
class
book.
Notebook.
Yeah, I know nobody has another one.
1949.
Exactly. This is the
Moore
book.
Street School.
Yeah, and in there is a recipe for wafflettes. And I still use that recipe. It's in the book.
Right. Well, this is wonderful.
Make the little batter and stick the little iron down it and make the shape like little flowers and butterflies and stuff, just down, and let them go, and they bubble up in the hot oil, and you pick them up, swish them around there in powdered sugar.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, it's just got the weight tables
Oh
and everything on the
yes,
back.
yes. Well, you know, I remember having these kind of books. Yeah. Well, listen, this has been awesome. Of course, you know you're making me hungry.
Yeah, me too. I have to go home and cook.
But I tell you, you really inspired me, and yet I found it absolutely amazing how much you got in this book in terms of recipes and even restaurants that you say are good restaurants to go to, and even some remedies for different things that you might have medically. That was awesome, and I said, well, you know, I have to give some of these a try.
Yeah, I tried some of
things
them.
For memory and for vision and value of eating fruits, different sinuses, colds. It's not just a cookbook.
Yeah.
And that's what I found so fascinating.
Right.
And so I really think so much of this book, and I really am so happy to have had you on my show.
Thank you, and I'd just like to say thanks to all the people who made that possible.
Absolutely. This was wonderful, and thank you so much for coming on.
Oh, you're welcome. It's been my pleasure.
Right, talking about your book.
Exactly.
Right. Thank you, thank you,
You're
thank you.
welcome.